Howdy-o, folks. I am the Pajama Pants Player. I am John Grande, and I am here with you guys on this beautiful Thanksgiving week. I am joined, as always, by the Prime Minister of Sinister, Mr. Don Nice. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, my man. How's it going? I know things are, it's been pretty hectic lately, but how's things going with you?
Dude, things have been going pretty well, actually. Nice. I've been working pretty much every night of the week. School's been a little bit hectic, but nothing I can't handle. I was a little under the weather last week. That's why we didn't have a show for you guys. This week, I figure we repay you guys back by talking about a movie that I, for one, am very thankful for. And it's a movie that takes place around Thanksgiving time. It's the topic at hand today from 1987, Blood Rage. And I'm sure we have a lot of cool things to say about that, but I figured I'd ask you first, is there anything you've seen over the past few weeks? I know it's been a little bit hectic for you, too, with work and stuff and whatnot, but how have you been, man?
I'm doing good. Like I said, the Thanksgiving holidays coming up is always nice to hang out with some family and, just kind of shoot the breeze a little bit and see what's going on in everybody's life. We've been doing pretty good, man. We can't complain. Been busy, getting ready for the holiday and, leading up, there's a lot of things going on at school, so there's a lot of work to do there. So, but yeah, man, we had a chance to watch a few things this week. My wife, who everybody knows probably at this point isn't a huge horror fan, asked me if we could sit down and watch the Alien films. So we actually got a chance to watch a couple of them. She's seen Alien many times because it's one of my favorites. So I'll throw it on, and whether she likes it or not, she has to watch it. So, but we had a chance to actually sit down and watch Aliens. I don't think we've ever talked about the Alien franchise. Are you a fan of the Alien films?
Yes, I am a huge fan of the first two.
Cool.
The third one, I've seen it once, and I just never went back to. And I know it's a Fincher film,
right.
And I know that there's a lot of people that kind of love it and hate it, and I've heard it's Resurrection I think is crap personally.
Yeah, I agree.
But I would like to rewatch Alien 3 somewhere down the road because that's a movie I've only seen the one time, and I don't really remember my feelings on it.
Sure.
I remember being indifferent. I remember being like,
Right. Well, Alien 3 is very similar to Halloween 3 in the way people really like it or they really hate it. You know what I mean? And it's one of those ones, I don't really have super strong feelings of love for it or anything like that, but it's definitely a passable film. And to know that it's Fincher, that makes it a little bit more interesting, and maybe you can understand a little bit why it went down the road it did. But yeah, man, we sat down and watched them. She enjoyed them, so I can't really complain. She had a good time watching them. So, what about you, man? Did you get a chance to watch anything?
Yes, I did, and that must have been a thrill for you. I have to say on a side note, that's
absolutely,
so cool.
Absolutely,
that's so cool. But yeah, I actually got a chance to watch the 30 for 30 on Ric Flair.
Oh yeah,
Nature Boy. Yeah, man, it was phenomenal. It was one of the best 30 for 30s I've seen because I really, you watch these guys every week, but it's so fascinating when you hear about their real lives and what they've gone through over the past 20, 30, 40 years. And man, that guy had more ups and downs than anything you can ever imagine.
No kidding.
I mean, he was in a plane crash, broke his back in a few different places, but continued to wrestle.
Wow.
And his son, son pretty much overdosed on drugs, and he said, Ric Flair said, I tried to drink myself to death, I mean, there were a lot of sad things, but there were also a lot of funny stories in there too. There's a story where he went to his psychiatrist and, or he went to some kind of shrink just for a one-off. And he told them that he drinks like crazy every day. Right. And the psychiatrist was like, "You drink like that every day?" He's like, "How are you alive?"
Right, yeah, no doubt.
And Ric Flair said by the end of it, Ric Flair was in the shrink's chair and the shrink was on the couch.
Right, no doubt.
I just love that story, man.
Yeah, I heard a story from that. I actually haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but it is on the list to watch. But I heard a story about how someone was talking to Hulk Hogan. And, telling him how much he meant to the sport and so on and so forth. And I guess Hogan said to this person, "Look, you're talking to the wrong guy. The most important person to the sport in history is the guy sitting right here." And he pointed to Ric Flair. So, I mean, that, as big an ego as Terry Hogan has, it's pretty crazy to think that he actually gave some kudos to somebody else, and it ended up being Ric Flair. You know what I mean? Somebody who I don't know. We always see it from the outside. You know what I mean? They don't. The Hulk Hogan I know doesn't seem like he'd give any kudos to a guy like Ric Flair. You know what I mean? From growing up and watching. But it's really cool to see. And I think that's a pretty interesting story, and it really tells you a lot about who Ric Flair is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ric Flair really is, I think, the poster child for the wrestling business. Like, sure. When I think of like the Rushmore, I think it would be Flair, Hogan, Rock, and Austin. That would be my Rushmore.
Wow.
For like wrestling in the past 30 years.
Really, I'm surprised there isn't somebody from the newer generation, or maybe a.
Oh, John Cena. Okay, we could add John Cena.
I mean, there's a few guys who kind of spanned the time from that I remember to the time that is now. You know what I mean? And so there's a few guys that could. Man, I think that Rushmore could probably you could probably add a couple guys to that, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you could add Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels.
Exactly. That's exactly
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Right.
I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, there's so many great ones. But, yeah, man, if you get a chance, watch that documentary. The Ric Flair documentary was fantastic.
I wanted to ask you, before we move on, is there a wrestling Hall of Fame that you can go to, kind of like baseball and football?
I don't think you can go to it. Okay. I think it's just like I'm really not that sure, actually.
I mean, I know they have one, right? That they induct them to. Right?
Yeah, their headquarters, I believe, WWE headquarters is in Connecticut.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the Hall of Fame was in Connecticut too. I mean, I'm not positive. I could totally look this up, but
got to figure there's going to be one at one point, right? I mean, how could you?
There should be.
Yeah, no doubt.
There totally should be. Could you imagine the amount of money they would make per day?
No kidding.
I would totally want to go to that.
Right,
I would love to see a Macho Man Randy Savage wing.
Right. That would be amazing.
I've been to the baseball one so many times, and I've always wanted to go to the football one.
So you've been to the Baseball Hall of Fame?
Yes, I have been to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
It's hard to believe, but I've never been there. We really, really want to go. We just haven't made it out. That would be amazing.
It's a long ride from where I'm at.
Yeah.
So I could only imagine.
Right.
How long. You'd have to probably take a plane.
Yeah.
Like I always laugh. Like we take a bunch of back roads to get there, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand how they get like all these stars. Like I bet you they helicopter them in.
Probably.
There's no way that they get driven there because it's such a long ride, man. It's horrible.
Out in the middle of nowhere, right?
It really is. It is the middle of It's not the middle of nowhere, but like you can see it from there.
I got you. I see what you're saying. Yeah, no doubt. But sorry,
it's bad, man. But yeah, it's beautiful. If you ever get a chance, man, it is absolutely beautiful little town. And I was in awe, man, when I went to the Hall of Fame. Sure. We went to a trivia session, me and my dad.
Yeah.
And it was fun. We got picked to take the place. It was like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, cool.
But like baseball players.
Very
and
cool.
like we almost made it to the end. It was a lot of fun. It was cool. And we saw Mike Piazza's plaque.
Oh, nice.
Really, really, really cool stuff, man. I totally recommend you and your kids will have a blast.
Are you a Piazza fan, or did you just say that because I'm a huge Piazza fan?
Oh, I'm a Piazza fan because he was. I know he's got a tie with Mets and Dodgers. So.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, he's my favorite player of all time. So I don't know if I ever told you.
Oh wow!
That.
I didn't know that.
Oh, interesting. I thought that's why you brought up. Yeah, he's my favorite player of all time. So
I brought him up because he was just inducted this past year.
Oh yeah. So anyway, sorry. Did you get a chance
to see
anything?
On, Mike Piazza.
Yeah, that's right. Mike, if you're listening, hit us up.
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
Anyway,
Mike Piazza loves Blood Rage.
Oh, I'm sure he's seen it 20 times. What have you seen anything else? You know what? I did get a chance to watch something else, and I bought the Criterion collection of The Game, another Fincher movie, and I sat down with my wife and we watched that. Have you seen that? Are you a fan of that film?
I have not. I've not seen it.
Oh man, dude! If you get a chance. I mean, it's a classic in my opinion, for sure, no doubt about it. Classic. I mean, it's on Criterion, which I'm not really into. I'm not a snob. I'm not a film snob, but I bought the Criterion collection because it's the only release with any extras for the film. So I got a chance to watch some of the extras and stuff. Really, really good movie. So if you ever get a chance, check it out. What about you? Did you see anything else?
Yes, I did. I watched. It was again not really horror related, but I watched American Gangster from
Oh my.
2007
Okay.
last night. I watched it. It's with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like they're like drug dealers in New York City in the 1960s,
Right.
and like Russell Crowe is the cop trying to bust Denzel and
Okay.
his gang, and it was a really really good movie, man.
I believe that movie's based on a true story, right? About a real guy. I mean, that Denzel's playing.
Yes, yes,
Okay, I thought so. You know, I
yes.
don't think
It
I've
was.
ever seen it though. I'm gonna have to check that out.
It was a good flick,
Yeah.
man. Like I don't normally go for movies like that. I was like,
Right, right.
I don't really want to watch this. And my friend Joe was like, he was like insinuating. He was like, it's great. Just sit down. I was like, all right. And so it was really a good flick. It
Cool.
could have been a little shorter. It was
Right.
over 3 hours
Oh,
long.
was it really? Wow.
Yeah, we watched the extended cut,
Oh,
which
okay.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to watch the extended cut going in, but I don't regret it. It was a really good little flick.
Cool. Definitely. Yeah, maybe I'll have to check that out. What else? Anything else? You didn't get to the theaters at all, did you? You didn't see like Justice League or anything like that, did you?
Oh Jesus!
Are you even
No,
interested?
I don't ever really go to the theaters anymore.
Yeah, I don't
like
either.
the when I saw Mother, I think that's the last movie I saw in the theater.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
How about you?
No. Shoot, I feel the same way. I don't know. I wanted to get out and see something, but I don't know. It just seems like a waste of time. You know, I watched so
Did
many
you
movies.
did you see the trailer? I saw a few new trailers. Did you see the trailer for Strangers Part 2?
No, I haven't. Look good.
Oh shit! You guys see it, man. It's up.
Oh
It's,
yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, I like that first movie a lot. I really
I think I
did.
can send you the link to it. I'll text you the link
Cool,
to it.
cool, yeah, definitely.
My friend Kyle was going crazy because he's like the biggest fan.
Yeah, that's
of-
another love-hate movie, isn't it? A lot of people really hate that movie. I think it's a great movie, the first one.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just didn't go for it. I was like, I saw it a few months ago, and I was like, what the hell is this?
What am I watching? I got you. Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll totally send you the link. Yeah,
Okay.
that was any other horror news that we've. I feel like there's one more that I'm not thinking of.
No, not that I can think of anyway. Malcolm Young died. I know that's not horror news, but
Oh
that's pretty
shit,
sad.
man!
Yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree. Big AC/DC fan. Grew up listening to him, so that was kind of sad. But I'm trying to think if there's anything. No, nothing that I can think of that sticks out horror news wise. Have you seen Leatherface? I don't want to see that. I don't have any desire to
I
see
have
that.
not seen Leatherface, but like I actually kind of want to.
Really? Yeah, I don't know. It just reminds me of Rob Zombie's Halloween, and you know how I feel about that movie. I think we both are not big fans of that film. But anyways.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
no doubt. But anyways, let's get into
All right.
Blood Rage from 1987. This is one that I saw a few years back
Mhm.
and just ultimately fell in love with it. I don't know what it is about this movie. I think it kind of fell between the cracks
Sure.
of the whole slasher genre, the slasher craze of the 1980s. But what are your memories on this one, man?
Well, I remember seeing it way back, and I believe it had to have been when it came out on VHS. I think I told you that because this movie had a really, really small release. And what was it released as? Nightmare on Shadow something or other? What was it on?
The copy I watched, it was released as as Slasher.
Yes.
That was the title.
Did you see it online?
No, I streamed it on Amazon Prime, so
Oh,
I guess
that's right.
technically, but
Yeah, I'm guessing that Amazon Prime has a connection to Arrow for some reason because they have a lot of Arrow releases on there. Because
Yes.
I went ahead and bought the Blu-ray. I think I texted you a picture that I bought the Blu-ray. But that's the one I saw too. That it was the title card was Slasher. So I think that was probably just the best copy that they had available to them when they were doing the Blu-ray. But anyways, it's going to drive me crazy if I can't remember the name of that title or what it should have been called. Nightmare at Shadow Woods. That's what it was. So when it was released at the theaters here in the United States, that's what it was released as. But for me, I especially looking back, I really didn't remember very much of it from when I saw it when I was younger. I really like this movie, and I think part of the reason that it slid between the cracks is this movie was filmed in 1983, but not released until 1987. So that's probably why. By 1987, these type of the early type of slashers, which is what I consider this, it was kind of out of vogue. You know what I mean? There was a lot of comedy and sexy, rompy, silliness going on in the slasher genre, but I really like this movie, man. Watching it again, it really, really, reminds me of the early '80s. I guess, which makes sense because that's when it was made. What about you? How do you feel about this movie? I think you said you liked it, right?
Oh man, I really like this movie. I think, and it's funny that you say that it was made in '83 because this movie really, I don't know if I think it fits in better with when it was released. Like this movie has a lot of comedy in it as well, and some great lines and some great gore effects and stuff like that. I think when I think early '80s, I think of those kind of quiet, like Friday 13th-esque kind of movies,
Gotcha.
a little bit more serious. But with this movie, I think it has a lot of fun with itself, and I think that's
Gotcha.
great because, 87, 86, 88, 89, those were the years that slashers were kind of more fun and more silly. So I think this movie is awesome because it was way ahead of its time. It was 4 years ahead of its time,
Right,
and
right.
here this is. This is kind of, I think, what I'd consider a hidden gem in the genre for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one of the differences between this and say the early slasher movies is exactly who it is that's killing people pretty much straight from the beginning.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's really no question. And you're right. The line like that's not cranberry sauce or or whatever. And I'm sure
Best line of the movie.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody who's seen this movie knows that line. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see it. What do you think about the acting in this movie?
I think the actors do a good job. Before we get into the acting,
Okay,
do you
sure.
want to maybe give a little bit of a plot summary for people who have not seen this one? Because I do know there are quite a few people that have not seen this one.
Yeah. Actually, I have a synopsis here if you want me to just read
beautiful. Go ahead.
All
Go
right.
ahead, my man.
Sure. Twins Todd and Terry seem like sweet boys. That is, until one of them takes an axe to the face of a fellow patron at the local drive-in. Todd is blamed for the bloody crime and is institutionalized, whilst his twin brother Terry goes free. 10 years later, and as the family gathers around the table for a Thanksgiving meal, the news comes in that Todd has escaped. But has the real killer, in fact, been in their midst all along? One thing's for sure, there will be blood and rage.
Yes, there will be.
Yeah. This movie, like I said, this movie definitely goes a different route, letting you know pretty much right from the beginning what's going, who's doing the killing and what's going on. But the characters in this movie, first of all, I personally thought the acting was horrendous in this movie, but it didn't take away from this movie at all. I thought, it kind of brings that nostalgia factor back for me. You know what I mean? A lot of slasher movies from the early '80s didn't have the best acting, and you can understand why. There wasn't a lot of seasoned actors hoping to do slasher movies, back in the '80s. So I think that's part of it. What did you see? I really thought Julie, who played kind of the she was kind of the final girl, right? Karen, Julie Gordon.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess kind of final girl.
I thought she was hot. Did you think she was hot?
Totally. I think there were a lot of good-looking women in this movie.
Yeah, and there's some boobs. There's a lot of blood. What did you think about the mom in this? Did you think she?
I love the mom. The mom reminds me of the mother from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah.
How she's kind of. I thought there's one scene where she's got the door open after she's found out that her son's escaped, and she's just eating food on the floor out of the refrigerator.
I know, that's so creepy, so weird.
It was like, what a fucking maniac. She's like, I have to clean the house, it's how I forget about things. And she's just like vacuuming very viciously throughout the whole movie, man. I fucking love it. Like, that's just so my recipe for success, man. Like, it's so enjoyable. But what'd you think of her character?
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was like really, she seemed like she was on drugs the whole time. And, I mean, that's what they were going for, you know what I mean? But yeah, she was definitely creepy. Like, her teeth were all yellow, and I don't know, I don't know, maybe that's just her regular teeth. I have no idea, but I always just thought she was creepy looking, you know what I mean? And she was a pretty big actress. Her name's Louise Lasser, but she had her own TV show. I mean, it only lasted for like a year, but I mean, in the 70s, she was on like the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which, I mean, that's probably way before your time, you even know. But I mean, it's not like she was some nobody. I mean, she actually was a name. You know what I mean? That people could, I mean, she wasn't a huge name, but it was kind of like throwing Donald Pleasance in Halloween. You know what I mean? He wasn't a huge name, but it was enough to get some type of recognition. So back then, it was probably a big deal that she was in this movie.
And the thing about it is, I think she honestly is the most over the top out of anybody in this movie.
Yeah.
And especially in the scenes towards the end. I mean, she's really over the top, but I think it's just enjoyable. Like you said, it's that late '80s charm that I could kind of get over. I just think her performance is kind of enjoyable.
So I think it was a big deal for them to get her in there, because at the time she was probably a pretty decent sized name. You know what I mean? Somebody recognizable. But I don't know. Are you familiar with any of this cast? I mean, other than her? You probably didn't even know her. Are you familiar with any of these people? Did you know?
I was not familiar with anybody, not even her.
Did you know who Ed French was? Did you know the guy? You know who that is?
I've heard the name, but I couldn't put a face to the name.
Gotcha.
To be honest.
Yeah. Well, he usually does special effects, and he did special effects for movies like T2. He was the T2 guy.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
That's I guess it was technically after this, because this was '83, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. He did movies like American Sniper recently, and Terminator Salvation, Star Trek 6. So I mean, he's a pretty big name. You know what I mean? And I believe he even did makeup for one of the Freddy movies. But yeah, I mean, so this was his first kind of foray into special effects. And what did you think about the special effects in this movie?
You see, this is one of those movies that I think when they showed the special effects, awesome.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of scenes in this movie where it's like off-screen kills.
Right.
Like they set up for it, and then it's like you don't see what happens. And while I can appreciate that some of the time, I think they do it a little bit too much in this movie. I would like to have seen some more, over-the-top gory kills. I mean, there are some good ones.
Yeah.
Of course, the step or soon-to-be stepdad. Getting his hand chopped off. I mean, that's a classic. I think the opening kill is a pretty fucking vicious kill.
What, the opening kill? I'm trying to. Yeah, no doubt, man. I really thought that was good. Yeah, no doubt. I agree.
That holds up really well, I think.
Yeah, and I watched it on Blu-ray, so it was 1080p, and everything looked pretty good. You know what I mean? I can't even say that about all Savini's effects looking that good on Blu-ray. Like Annie's kill in the original Friday the 13th, looked kind of fake, you know what I mean? Which, again, doesn't take away from, but I'm just saying, I thought this stuff held up pretty, just against anything Savini did, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was, the effects were really, really well done in this. A little bit ahead of its time, too, because, again, you got to say, 83, I mean,
right.
These were, some of them were on, that opening kill is totally on the Savini level, for sure. I mean, I was like, wow, I was astounded how good the blood and gore looked. And I think there are some other kills later in the movie. I like the nerdy guy that gets killed, and she kind of finds his head outside. I mean, I never thought, oh, wow, that looks really real, but I always thought, oh, man, it's perfect. It was funny. It was a kind of cool concept to do that. Just hang up the head. Just answer the door.
That's him. That's the guy. He played that character. Ed French.
That's
and that cool. Right? It's pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty cool. That I guess he wanted to do that with all his movies, but then he saw this one and said, "No, I won't do it anymore." But but I got to tell you too, he actually did, and this is going to blow your mind. He did the special effects for Sleepaway Camp.
Oh shit! I thought that was wasn't that? I thought that was Johnson. Bill Johnson.
He did. Let's say he did part of them. Let's say that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, So he's done. I mean, if you look at his resume is impressive. I never heard of the guy. I never heard that name before this. And I looked, and I mean, he did Chud. He did Amityville 2. He did Breeders, Necropolis. This Creepshow 2. I mean, so he's done a lot of stuff. So yeah, I just thought that was pretty interesting that a guy like that with all these credits, we don't really know his name. You know what I mean? We never heard of him before.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? We go on and on about Savini till forever,
right?
And then
right. Well,
we don't even know who this guy is.
Right. This guy's working on Westworld right now.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Just something cool to find out. Seeing all these movies, you find out some pretty cool stuff. So
that's totally a track record and a half right there.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. I agree.
That's a list of good films right there.
Yeah. What about the kill of the I can't remember names, but the guy and the girl who are naked getting funky on the diving board?
Oh shit! That's one of the. It just comes out of nowhere, man.
Yeah.
Like you're just like enjoying. You're like, oh shit, okay, boobs,
Right.
boobs. Here we go, boobs, and then we get fucking blood out of nowhere.
No
It's like,
doubt.
oh shit,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I like that he throws them in the sauna at one point, and
Right.
he's like, "Are you two still in there?"
Right, exactly. When he's and that, like I said, there are a few things. I thought the acting wasn't all that great in this movie, but again, it doesn't take away from anything. But when she's carrying the baby around, and she's being like real reckless with this baby that she has, throwing him under the sink, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that the guy who plays Terry and Todd. What's his name? Mark Soper? Is that how you say it? Yes. Mark Soper. I thought, he was, he definitely was passable. I thought he did a really good job in this movie. I don't know. Like I said, with other people around him not doing such a great job, it's kind of hard. And you know what? Maybe that's really what they were going for. I don't really know. But did you think he? Oh, I gotta say, the wig. When he's fighting himself at the end, and the other guy has a wig on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that wig was horrible. It was fucking. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so fucking hilarious. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think he really pulls it off.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like I was trying to tell my mother about this. Like I watched it and I was getting ready to go for work and I was telling her a little bit about it and she just started laughing. She's like, "What is the shit you watch?" Like I get a kick out of people that don't watch horror movies on a regular basis.
Oh yeah.
And then their reactions to when you tell them the plots of some of these movies.
Right.
We're just like nonchalantly fucking shooting the breeze about, this one brother and the other brother, and one's crazy and the other one's not, and he's killing motherfuckers. Like I just love how that sounds to Joe Schmoes.
I know, right?
World,
They probably think we're crazy, but that's okay.
Yeah, they think we're crazy, but we're actually probably the most harmless.
That's right. Exactly.
Which is a blessing in disguise.
Right.
But I think he really pulls it off here, man. I think he plays the kind of conservative, laid back brother that's been in the hospital really, really well because he looks kind of like he has been in a hospital, for a while. Like he looks a little cold. He looks sick. He looks, kind of worried by everything.
Right.
And then with the other brother, I think he's completely animated. He's completely like a classic heel villain.
Right.
And I love that he channels that inner kind of. He's able to be like, okay, the polar opposite. Even though it's their twins, he's able to turn himself up to 11 with the villain character, and he's able to kind of dial himself back with the other character. I think he does a really good job. I think he's easily the best actor in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't even think anybody really comes close. I did like some of the women in this movie as well, but. Yeah, but what did you think about some of the females in this one?
Well, I think the main girl, Karen, is real. I mean, I really, really liked. I thought she was super attractive. I didn't.
Question.
Yeah.
Does she remind you a little bit of Lori Loughlin?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right?
Totally that type of woman. Absolutely. I like I said, I didn't think she was a great actress, but she was very, very nice to look at. Very, kind of a plain Jane, but very nice to look. Now, there's, that other girl, the one who's trying to make out with Terry and get him, to have sex, and she has sex with the other guy later. The ones he throws into the sauna. That girl was also. I mean, she killer body on her. But I thought that, and I'm trying to remember, those were really the only two girls that were worth looking at. Everybody else was a little bit older, right? Maybe there might have been one other, but anyways. But yeah, so this is a movie that you could definitely watch for the women. There's two very nice looking women there, and there's a couple of nude scenes, right? At least two that I can think of in the sauna and in the shower, and that's by that other girl, and I think her name's Julie in the movie, if I remember right. But but yeah, I thought if you're looking for good looking girls in an 80s slasher setting, this movie will work for sure. I mean, I think it could, there's some other better ones, where you get a little bit more. But
you know what it is? What it is about this movie is I think it has a little bit of everything. Like, I mean, it has very good gore effects. It has very good-looking women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it have a lot of great scenes of gore?
Right.
No. Does it have a lot of great scenes with women? No.
Right.
Does it have a crazy story that kind of is a little bit quirky? But at the end of the day, I think it works. I think this movie is really one of those movies that, as a whole, it really kind of helps itself, because I don't know what the budget was on this film, but it's one of those things where I feel like they really showed all. They kind of were able to hide the negatives by showing all the positives, and I think that's a really well job done
Sure.
by the director of this film, because that's a hard thing to do with a slasher movie when you don't have a budget.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Very, very hard thing to do. And that's why there aren't a lot of classics. You know what I mean? Because it's not an easy thing to do. And, this guy never really went on to do anything else. This was it.
Which is a shame.
Yeah, yeah. So it's surprising that, I mean, you know how things go. There's a lot of luck involved and things like that in Hollywood. But yeah, I mean, I thought, I totally agree with you. I thought that this movie, he pulled everything off well. Again, it has its issues, but they all do. You know what I'm saying? These are not movies that are ever going to win any, American Film Institute awards. You know what I'm saying? It's just not going to happen. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have their place in history, and obviously these movies have fans. That's what we're talking about, right? But yeah, I mean, this movie is it does things and it makes you forget about certain things like some other movies can't do. And like you said, I think that's part of the charm of this film for sure. But what do you think? I mean, what do you? I mean, you can't consider this a top 15 slasher, right?
No, I would not. But I would say if I had to make a list of underrated slashers, movies that people don't talk about, this would be towards the top.
Yeah, I agree.
Because this is a movie that I don't know. I don't understand why it doesn't really have that big of a cult following until probably it got released on Arrow.
Right.
The people, I never heard anybody mention this until it was released. When was this released? 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2015. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So until then, I never heard anybody speak about this movie, and that once that came out, the reviews of it on YouTube just piled up, and I was like, I got to check this movie out,
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. I was like, this is awesome. Where was this movie? Why did nobody ever really talk about it? And I think you made a good point, man. Maybe it's the fact that it was on the shelf for 4 years,
right,
and that it wasn't released. But I don't know. Even that though, like a movie like Madman.
Right.
That movie was out, but I don't think it had a big theatrical run either, but it had a huge cult following for years.
Yeah.
Do you think some of these movies fall between the cracks like this due to sitting on the shelf too long, or do you think it's one of those things where it's like maybe it just didn't find its audience until it got released on Arrow a few years later?
Yeah. Well, let me say you brought up Madman, and this movie is right in line with Madman. If
yes.
Anybody who, you know what I mean? If you think Madman is a decent movie, everybody knows how I feel about it. This movie could go right alongside. I mean, that'd be a great double bill in my opinion. I would like to watch these.
That would be a good double bill. I would play this one probably first, and then Madman, because I would start with the fun movie and then kind of end with a little bit more serious.
Right. I think it has to be. It has to be luck, dude. I don't know how else. You know what I mean? I don't know why one. In this case, Madman would have, get a much earlier cult following than a movie like this. Because here's another thing that really surprises me is that this movie, the artwork on the VHS box of this movie is awesome.
I know.
It's so awesome. Like, if I was a kid, and that's probably why I picked it up in the first place, I would have picked this up so fast because of that artwork. You know what I mean? It's definitely better than Madman, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? So, and I'm a huge fan of Madman. I love Madman. But this movie, man, if you put them next to each other on the shelf, I probably would have picked Blood Rage first. I don't know. I don't. That's why you can't ever answer that question. Why did this not become such a big cult classic as Madman or anything from the early 80s? I just don't know. But I will say that it definitely deserves a place up there with those movies for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly with you. I think that's a very good point you make. And I think another thing about this is like it really, like you said, it almost follows all these kind of checklist things for me. Like to me, even people probably laugh at this, but like I think a big part of a classic slasher is the cover art. I really
absolutely.
do, because I think it's it brings me back to being a little kid. I mean, obviously, I never saw this one at Hollywood Video or Blockbuster or anything.
Right.
But, when you see these cover arts, before you even see the movie, you're like, oh man, this is it has like a lasting impact on you. That image that you see kind of sticks with you, and I think that's a very important thing, because then you see the movie, and then you basically, that image is synonymous with the movie.
Absolutely.
And I think like movie like Madman, I believe the original Anchor Bay DVD release, that was a really cool cover. Like it was just him in the tree.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome. It's like you can see the tree, but you can almost barely make out the madman in the tree.
Right.
And I always thought, man, that is a perfect 80s slasher cover. Like that is what, these covers should be. And I think, a lot of the classic slasher movies of the 80s have distinct covers, like Sleepaway Camp as the original, and of course Part 2 and Part 3, which are two of my favorite posters of all time. The one with the girl going to camp with Freddy's glove and Jason's mask, and the Sleepaway Camp Part 3 one, which I now own, which I'm thrilled about, is just a big old set of titties with a bloody knife on it, and it says she's back to slash last year's record. I mean, that's just it. These things really, I think, add to the lore, and I think they add to the final product of the film, because that's the great thing about slasher movies. You can keep adding. There's never a time where it's too much. It's just
Right.
It really isn't. I mean, it's that only genre of film where more is more. Like, it's not less is more, it's more is more. Keep adding more. You can never go too far.
Right. Well, one of the things about, you're talking about the cover art, and the one thing that I liked about this movie a lot as I was watching it, thinking, was I loved the score. Did you like the score of this movie?
Oh, dude, the opening fucking it's so inspiring, and they're the popcorn and Ted Raimi selling condoms.
Ted Raimi, I forgot about that. Yeah.
This is fucking my shit right here.
Right. So I mean, I thought, I love the synthesizer, that whole, early '80s synthesizer. I mean, now don't get me wrong. I think John Carpenter is the probably the best at that.
Oh, totally.
In my opinion, but I was like, man, this reminds me of a Carpenter score. That synthesizer, and I thought, man, I don't know. I think that the music, kind of like the art, can make or break a movie too. You know what I mean? For instance, John Carpenter said he showed Halloween without the music to a bunch of executives, and they hated it. You know what I mean? And then he added the music in, and they thought it was the scariest thing that they'd ever seen. You know what I mean? Not that this movie, not that the music made it scary, but I just thought it just went well. Like you said, it just all came together for this movie. Yeah,
it helps.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it helps. It's just it's another 2 cents of the barrel. It's another, just a little bit. It's not much, but it's enough to make the whole mean something more. And I think that goes a long way, and especially like a movie like this. What did you think? What were some of your favorite kills other than my favorite was probably the opening kill. I loved that kill.
Yeah, it was really incredible. I liked that kill a lot too. I really liked when he came into the soon-to-be stepfather and cut off his hand. That was all cool and neat. How they used the hand and it crushed the can. After the hand was laying on the ground, I thought that was pretty funny. And again,
it was still moving when it was on the floor.
That was another thing that I agree with you on, the fact that it didn't take itself super, super seriously. You know what I mean? Where that was kind of a funny thing. But later on, when the mom and again, I'm drawing a blank on her name. Give me just a second. It's going to drive me crazy.
That's all right. I don't.
Maddie. Her name's Maddie.
Okay.
When she comes in to find him sitting there with his head in his hands and in his stump, I don't know if you remember that, and she shakes him and he falls and his head flops open. I love that. Like I said, the inside of his head didn't look very real. Didn't look like a brain or anything. But I was like, damn, and that's fucking badass. To see something like that. So I really like that one, and I like the one on the when he slices the girl's face with the machete and it pulls away a piece of her skin. I thought that was really, really well done. I mean, he stabs the guy. I mean, they're all really, really classic slasher kills, don't you think?
Yeah, I like the scene too where the guy's like, "Oh, you want a joint?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll take a hit." And he takes it, and he goes, "I thought you were your crazy fucking brother."
Right.
And he's like, "Yeah," and it just fucking stabs him. He's like,
right through it.
I was just laughing my ass off. I'm like, this is gonna be I remember when I first saw this, I was 20 minutes in, and I'm like, "Holy shit! How have I not seen this?"
Right.
you know right away. Like, there's this weird dinner scene.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all eating, and like it's just super uncomfortable. He's like, they learn that the brother got out, and the mother's like, "All right, don't say anything about it." Then he goes, sits down. He's like, "Well, we guess you're gonna meet my brother. He just escaped the mental hospital.
Right. You're gonna get to meet my crazy brother."
Like a death stare. It's like, mother.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it took a lot of. I think it took a lot of its points from movies that worked. You know what I mean? I mean, the dinner scene. Obviously, everybody wanted to have that after Texas Chainsaw Massacre when it came to slasher movies. And this isn't obviously it's not. It's not the same, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it kind of just works. You have the crazy mother and the brother you realize has to be fucking the one that's out of his skull, and there's some strangers there, and there's some hot chicks, and you know what I mean. It just, I don't know.
Yeah, he's completely like flirting with that other girl right in front of his girlfriend.
Right, exactly.
Like, you want to come over later and do something? He's like, yeah, and the other girl's like, hey,
right.
Like, I'm here too, motherfucker.
Right, yeah, just an absolute. And I think they kind of threw some stuff to the wall, and what stuck really worked. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those kind of movies.
They had fun with it, man. Like that's the culture. It's like I remember talking to Tracy Savage a few years ago. Like she said, man, we were kids on the set of Friday the 13th Part 3.
Right.
We were kids. We were just having a good time. There was no, oh man, we got to make this good. We got to make this good. There was no thought process like that. It was just go, show up, do your best, have fun, party. And that was the mentality. And I think maybe that would be beneficial to some filmmakers today. Like, I think a lot of filmmakers today are so caught up in, I have to reinvent it, or I have to make this how it was. And they're so caught up in everything that they almost outdo themselves. Right. It's like they overdo it. Even though I was saying before, it's really hard to, overdo it. But you can. I think you can get ahead of yourself, and then the movie has no life or soul to it. And that's the worst thing you can do with a slasher film, because there really is not much. I mean, that formula is very simple, and when you take it too seriously and it's not effective, it could fall flat on its face. I'd rather watch this movie, over movies that, some new slashers that, like movies like, like the Hatchet movies.
Right.
Like I thought they were too comical, and then they became, I don't know. Those didn't. How are you a fan of the Hatchet films at all?
They're okay, but no, I'm not. I wouldn't say. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a fan. No, and I love Kane. Adam Green. You got to appreciate. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. No, not at all.
Yeah, and I think there's something about like Adam Green and everybody was saying, oh, this is the next revolutionary slasher. There was some kind of tagline it had where it was like everybody was saying this is going to be the next great slasher movie. I don't remember the exact tagline, but like I remember when I saw it, I was like, I don't know, I don't feel like it really got it. I feel like it kind of was a mess.
Absolutely, and I hate to say that because Danielle Harris has been in them. Kane Hodder's in it. I mean, Tony Todd.
Man, nobody wanted to like it more than me.
Right,
but it's just at the end of the day, it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Right, you just got to say right. And I'm sure they had a wonderful time making that. You know what I mean? I'm sure it was amazing to work on that film. So they were really, really excited about it, but it just didn't come across on screen, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. 100% I agree with that.
Yeah. But, I'm not sure, John, we've talked about this many times. I'm just not sure it's possible. The time has to be right, and, I think we're just past that. You know what I mean? I just don't think. That's why we watch a lot of old movies and talk about a lot of old movies, because that's just when they were good. You know what I mean? It's just not. I don't know, man. It's kind of sad to think about, but it's true. I think
it is. And the slasher craze of the 1980s. I mean, that really was like when I think of stuff that are a product of its time. Nothing reigns more supreme than slasher movies in the 80s.
Right.
They are the quintessential product of their time.
Yeah.
They really like. Are there great 90s slashers? You can name a couple. Are there great, 2000 slashers? You can name a couple. Right. But it's not the same because there's something about that decade that had a charm to it that kept people coming back. And, whether you were watching it in the theater, whether you were renting it on video, I think it just kept people coming back because you had this colorful world that you could really kind of now explore. With all these crazy psycho madmen killers. Some of them twins, some of them wearing hockey masks, some of them wearing the classic glove. But I think it's just something about that genre and about that time that we'll never recapture. I don't think we'll ever see it quite again. So it's really nice to come back and watch movies like this, and of course the classics.
Right.
But I don't know, man. I miss like you said, man. It is kind of sad because
it is.
It's really. That was that 10-year window, and then it completely slammed shut, in my opinion.
Yeah, one of the things that I remember about growing up, I didn't. We've talked about this before. I didn't get a chance to go to the theater a lot and see these movies, which again is pretty sad. But I remember going to the video store, and I remember that it seemed like every week, every time I went to the store, there were 10 or 11 new slasher movies being released, and that was that was all the time. You know what I mean? Now, if there's one a year or two a year, you get excited about those movies, and they're usually a letdown. But if there's 10 or 11 of them every 2 weeks, you can usually find something you enjoy, with something there, So, this is kind of one of those situations where there were so many of them being released at that time. Maybe that's another reason that this kind of fell through. You know what I mean? Maybe it didn't have a lot of advertising and things like that, which I'm sure it didn't. Maybe that's another reason it kind of fell through the cracks, is because there was just so many, and people, this was the last one that week that anybody would get to, so it didn't carry over into the next week with like the big ones, the Child's Plays and the Halloweens and all those, obviously the Friday the 13th at this point, and the Nightmare on Elm Streets at this point. There were just so many of them that people went, well, I'll just go with Freddy, or I'll just go with Jason instead of going with this new one. And I think you think about companies like Full Moon and things like that. They were in 1987. Companies like that. I don't think Full Moon was actually a company at that point, but there were just so many companies like that putting out so many different things. And one of the I don't know if great things, I say, people might hate this, but one of the great things about the 80s, especially video releases, is there would be a movie being released with 4 or 5 different names and 4 or 5 different artworks. And it's the same. It's the same movie. You know what I mean? I'm like, I saw this motherfucker. I can't believe I wasted 99 cents on this. You know what I mean?
And this movie itself had three or four names.
Right, exactly. So and again, that was one of the charms about the time that people probably nowadays would be pretty upset about. But again, that's probably just another reason that it kind of fell through the cracks, because this movie is, like I said, it's just as good as most of those movies that were released. So, I like the other 80s fare back then too, but it was kind of last on the list. You know what I mean? Really, other than slasher movies, I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but I would have rather watched Friday 13th instead.
Yeah, absolutely. But the movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that's also like a time capsule.
Absolutely.
It's not. You could try to remake it. You could recast. You could do whatever you want to do. It's just not going to work because that was Matthew Broderick. That was John Hughes, and that was 1986. That's what it was.
Exactly.
You can't redo it. You can try all you want, but it will never come through and be good. Never.
That reminds me, I'm sure you've heard about the Suspiria remake, right?
I have heard about the Suspiria remake.
And I've heard really, really disheartening things about how it's not even a remake, like it has nothing to do with the original, I heard.
Oh, great. That should be great.
Right. Exactly, right? I'll run out to see that. So, yeah, I was pretty distraught when I heard that, which, not that it probably wouldn't have been any good anyway, but you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. It just seems to me that they're trying to do things with these old movies who wants that? Who really is who's clamoring for a movie called Suspiria that's nothing like the original? Because I know it's not me and you.
I don't know anybody that wants to see a remake of that movie. There was only one person and one time when that movie could have been made, and he already made it. So I don't.
Right.
I have no interest. I may not even see it.
Yeah, I doubt. Well, unless I can get to see it for free, I definitely won't see it. So that's kind of.
Yeah, I'm not paying to see it. No way.
Right. So, but anyways, I got off topic there a little bit, but. What else, man? Anything else you want to say about this movie? I mean,
let's talk a little bit about the ending.
Okay. All right.
Did you think the ending worked? Did you think it was a little? I thought it was awesomely over the top and awesome. But what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that I think endings are hard. I really do, man. I mean, I used to fancy myself a screenwriter. Okay, I wrote scripts and wrote a lot of slasher scripts, and endings are hard. You know what I mean? And so endings usually disappoint me. This one, not more than, say, anything else. But, I mean, I don't know. It felt kind of forced, but what else do you do? You know what I'm saying? So that's, I don't want to, I don't want it to take away from the way I feel about this movie because I love this movie. But, I mean, I don't know. It could have been done better, but what could they have done? I don't really know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like you said, it was kind of over the top, which I guess, it works. I don't have a problem with the way that it worked. But I don't know. It's just not what I would have liked a little bit more of an upbeat ending. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old guy. I don't know. But what do you think? Tell me what you think.
No, actually, I think you make a good point there. But I really think what was cool about it after spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen this movie, you could skip this 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm sorry. I do want to talk a little bit about it in depth, but it basically ends in this whole like kind of swimming pool place, I guess. Yeah. And the mother comes in with a gun and she's staring at her son Jerry. And or Terry. Is it Terry?
Terry, yeah.
Terry, right? Jesus, Jerry, yeah. So she's looking at Terry and she shoots him and then he kind of dramatically falls into the water. And then she crawls over to Todd and she's like, "Oh, my baby." And she's holding him and then she basically just says something along the lines of like, "I killed Todd" or something. And he just starts looking at her and he just goes, "I'm Todd. I'm Todd." And then the mother just decides to fucking shoot herself. And it's like the craziest. I was like, oh my God. Like, because I didn't see that coming. I thought it was going to be very like, wow, we killed the bad son. We're going to go off into the sunset. Right. I thought it was great that she thought she was killing Todd and not Terry. And then she was just like she felt so bad about it that she shot her own, she shot herself. Yeah, you know, I always thought that was great. And I thought it was weird that Karen just kind of walked away. Yeah, yeah. She just kind of snuck out the back door. Yeah. I was like, why? What is Karen doing? But I don't know. And I thought it was kind of cool how you hear the police sirens coming on and then the film kind of fades to black. I thought it was, I don't know, I kind of really liked it. I do understand it really was not the greatest, but I don't know what it is about this movie. There's movies like this, and of course, and I've talked about it to death, it's like how many times you've talked about Robert Shaw, I've talked about Sleepaway Camp Part 2 and 3. Right. But it's just, does that kind of charm. I think this movie has that kind of charm. Yeah. That just kind of wink at your face, wink at you, tongue in cheek, smile at you while they do the things that they're doing on the screen. And I am just one that I always appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And if I ever had the chance to make my own movie, I think it would be something like that. I think it'd be something like Sleepaway Camp 2, 3, Blood Rage, just along these lines of just a movie that kind of has fun with itself, knows what it is, and goes for it. Has just a blast doing it. I think that's the perfect formula for a movie, a slasher movie of my taste. Sure. I love it.
Sure. I think that anybody who enjoys an ending that will make you wonder, this is kind of like that, don't you think? Like, for instance, like you said, Todd's the one who lives, and the mother, Maddie, thinks she's killing Todd because he's, quote-unquote, the bad guy. Because you have to understand, from the beginning of this movie, she thinks that Terry's the good one and Todd's the bad one. She, you know what I mean? I don't think she ever realizes throughout this. Do you think that's true? Yes? No.
Well, I think there's one point where she's kind of saying, like, I don't know if he is crazy, or the doctor comes and doesn't know. Oh, by the way, that was an awesome kill when he cuts that lady in half.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we forgot to talk about it.
We didn't tell about that one yet. That was a badass. I bet you there's somebody yelling at the computer, these fucking assholes. They fucking forgot about it. Yeah. No, we didn't. We did temporarily, but now we're picking it up. That's a fucking awesome kill.
It is. It's a great kill. And Ed French, who did the guy that did the effects, said he wanted to film. They actually filmed part of that scene where he cuts her in half and her legs run for a couple steps before they fall down. That would have been so amazing to see. I thought that was pretty cool. So, but anyways, he said it was lost, I guess. But yeah, incredible scene. And it's the doctor. She plays the doctor who was helping him in the mental hospital because she comes after he escapes with one of the other guys to try to find him. So yeah, great. That might be the best kill, to be honest with you. That might rank up there with in the top 3 at least.
So absolutely.
Yeah, so
I'd go opening kill, then I'd go with that kill. That was an amazing kill.
Well, the best thing about that opening kill is the brutality, man. It's just fucking brutal. This one's a little bit more on the comedy side, you know what I mean?
Also, and also the opening kill is just out of nowhere. Like, you have this happy music. You see Ted Raimi dealing condoms, which I always thought was hilarious. I was like, what is Ted Raimi doing in this?
How in the hell did he get involved in this? Actually, there's an interview with him on the Blu-ray that I haven't watched. It's only like a 3-minute thing, but I haven't actually got a chance to see that, so I'm pretty stoked to check that out.
Oh, I would love to hear what he'd say. Yeah. Oh, they give me these condoms and these condoms.
Right.
Like, what would else's story be, you know?
No shit. But yeah, sorry, to get back to the ending, I think, this is a kind of ending that makes you think, oh, well, what happens? What happens to Todd? Because his mom's gone, his brother's gone, he doesn't have his dad's not around. Does he go back to the mental hospital? You don't know. You have no idea, Plus, same with Karen. You don't know where, what happened to her and where she went and all that good stuff. So this is one of those kind of endings that, that'll make you, think about it. So, if you're watching this with some friends, you got some popcorn, maybe, some alcohol or whatever, and you're watching it, this is definitely a movie that you could talk about afterwards, for sure.
Totally. You can have fun while watching it. Like that lady with she's like, oh, mommy's going to get you a sugar daddy.
No, I know. Jiminy Christmas.
That was classic.
Yeah. Mommy's going to get you a rich daddy. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
I always, and that girl was supposed to be babysitting that baby, right? Did they even show that baby before the mom came home? Anyways, so, but yeah.
Karen has her. We just don't know where Karen is.
Right, Karen just ran. She's still running like Forrest Gump. Anyways.
She ran all the way to fucking past Alabama.
Right, no doubt. To Greenbow, Alabama. Anyway.
Greenbow, Alabama!
Anyways, so yeah, we recommend this movie. You give it a thumbs up, obviously, right? I give it a thumbs up.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
You want to get into ratings?
Yeah, let's do it.
What would you give this one out of 10, Don Nice?
Damn. Wow. I'd have to say, I got to be reasonable, but I'd say maybe a 6.5 for a slasher film. 6.5 out of 10. What do you think?
I think that's a fair grade. I'll go 7.
Okay, yeah. It's not, it's not gonna, like I said, it's not going to win any awards, but none of these films are. You know what I mean? So for me, everybody who listens and knows me, it ranks up there with Madman. And maybe we should talk about Mutilator. Have you seen that movie?
Buddy Cooper's Mutilator?
Yeah. You want to talk about that sometime? I rank it up there with those movies if you're fans of those movies. So,
I'm a fan of the Mutilator.
Yeah, so for me, that's kind of, that maybe give you a better idea of how I really feel about it. It ranks up there with Madman, and I love Madman. So, what about you? You said 7?
I'd go 7 out of 10.
What would you put this on par with? That you enjoy? I mean, like how much you enjoy it. Not necessarily if it's better than that movie, but how much you enjoy it.
I'd put it right up there with Intruder. I think
wow.
I think
there you
right
go.
below Intruder.
Nice. Well, for me, that's a definite positive for sure. Yeah, you definitely got to check that out because Intruder's incredible. I mean, again.
Very similar, Intruder was released 2 years after. It was on the shelf for a few years.
Yes.
Has the comedy, has the great gore effects, has the fun characters. It's a similar,
I like that
film. Over-the-top killer. I mean, everything in it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's again, anybody who knows us, that's what we compare it to. You definitely got to check this one out. So
for sure,
yeah.
You can watch it this Thanksgiving because it is taking place around the Thanksgiving time,
right?
And we are thankful for it.
Yeah.
Unlike the other Thanksgiving horror film, Home Sweet Home. Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah, with Body by Jake.
Yes,
Jake Steinman. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. I haven't seen that in years either. Maybe I don't. Can I get a hold of that somewhere? Is that on Blu-ray or DVD?
I don't know. I think it's on VHS. That's the only. I've never seen a DVD of it. If there is,
me neither. I'm gonna have to. Maybe we can stream it just to watch it. But
that's one you'd have to stream. That's a bad film though. That's like if anybody's interested in films that are really really terrible, that is one of them. That is probably one of the worst holiday themed horror films of all time. It is that bad.
And if I remember, the part of the problem, and that we kind of talked about it with this movie, is that movie tries to take itself too seriously.
Absolutely,
what I mean? It tries to be real brutal, and it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? I mean, when you got Body by Jake, in it, which he wasn't at the time, but you know what I mean. I mean, he just was not an actor.
Yeah, if you're daring enough, watch them as a double bill. Everybody that's listening to this, do Blood Rage, then Home Sweet Home, because this way you get through Blood Rage and like it, and then Home Sweet Home you can turn off in 20 minutes.
And you will be very, very thankful for Blood Rage.
Yes,
after watching that. After watching that,
you'll be like, "Holy shit!" You know, if you can somehow get through Home Sweet Home first and then watch Blood Rage, Blood Rage will literally feel like Citizen Kane.
Right.
You know,
right. Rosebud.
Yeah, Rosebud. That's not cranberry sauce. Right. It'll all kind of come and mesh together.
No doubt.
But all right, I figured a cool way to end this kind of show, Thanksgiving theme, since it'll come out. When do you think you'd be dropping this? Monday night or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. What do you think? Think I should wait a little later, or should I just do it on Monday? And
I think Monday's fine.
Yeah, I think give people an opportunity to watch
the last day anybody's doing anything related to the week, because Wednesday I'm off too, and I think you're off Wednesday, right?
Yep. That's cool. Okay, yeah, cool. I'll do it on Monday.
So I figure we end this with a little bit of a segment of what we're thankful for. A snack. We'll go like this. Here, I wrote down a list on my phone. Give me a second. Let me just pull it up.
You wrote a list.
All right. So this is the list I can try them. Snacks, beverages, and something to watch, whatever you like to watch around Thanksgiving, whether it be with your family or not. So give me your favorite snack to have, whatever it be, your favorite drink, and then your favorite thing to watch. Either it can be horror related, you can do horror related or whatever. Just shoot the shit, brother.
Yeah, my favorite snack, man. Well, I've been on this diet, right? I'm down 45 pounds.
Holy shit, man! Good for you.
Yeah. So my favorite snack, like the one thing that I'll just put it this way: the one thing that I eat on an off day, how's that? Is I go to this little place called Las Margaritas. It's an authentic Mexican restaurant.
Oh yeah.
And I have a giant margarita, like a big fish bowl margarita, and I got to tell you, I'm not a drinker, right? I don't drink very much, and I know you're the same way. Obviously, for one reason, you're underage, but I know you're not a drinker anyway. But I am such a girl drink guy. Like like my buddies will be like, hey, you want to come over? You want a Bud Light or something? And I'm like, no, I'll have a strawberry daiquiri. you know what I'm saying? So a margarita. I'll just say a margarita for me is kind of a fun snack to have. Now it's even better at home when you're getting ready to watch a horror movie. You know what I'm saying? You get
margaritas and horror.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Any kind of alcohol, really. Everybody's a big, and I don't want to call anybody out, but that's a lot of horror podcast people talk about what they're drinking all the time. I find that so odd. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just because I'm not a drinker. You know what I mean? Maybe that's part of what it is. I don't know. Never really been a drinker, so I don't know. Maybe I should start, huh?
Yeah. Anyway. Would that be your beverage or your snack?
Oh shit! Yes, it would be both.
Okay, so margarita and horror movie.
Right, two margaritas at a horror movie. And I'm trying to think about what in particular I watch. I like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I think that's a great. I consider that's a great Thanksgiving themed movie. You like that?
Yes, that's probably one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Nice.
You got two absolute legends, Steve Martin and John Candy. May he rest in peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was actually the movie I had on here.
Oh, you're going the wrong way. How do they know where we're going? Anyway. Yeah, classic.
Thank you.
Right.
Going in the wrong direction. And the part where he sees John Candy as the devil for a minute.
Gosh.
Classic. Man, there's some classic stuff with when he gets out of the shower. he leaves him like a rag.
Right. He holds up a towel and it's as big as a rag. Yeah, that's classic.
Yeah, where's your other hand between two pillows? Those aren't pillows. They get up and they're like, "Oh man, did you see that Bears game?"
That's classic. Yeah, that's great. That's a great movie. Man. Anybody who hasn't seen that, you got to see that movie too.
Oh my God, yes, that would be a good double bill.
There you go.
Horror comedy double bill.
There you go.
Watch Blood Rage and then Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
There you go. That sounds like a nice evening right there.
That's a really good double bill for this. And I'll get into my snack and beverage really quick since we have the same thing. Snack, I really when I'm thinking like snack chip wise, I go Red Doritos. I really like the nacho cheese.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Love Doritos, dude. I could eat a whole bag in one sitting, no doubt.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. That, or I really like. I make this special chili dip. I was making my world famous tacos.
I saw that on Instagram.
Oh, man. I had like 8 tacos, man. It was so delicious. I didn't even finish making the one I took the picture of because I was like so hungry.
Eat it. Nice.
I had the cheese on it, the taco sauce, and the lettuce and tomato getting ready. But I was like, this is just, I need to take a picture quick because I'm going to devour these. But I make this kind of homemade chili.
Okay.
And what it is basically is I put cheddar cheese, cream cheese, and the chili, and I just kind of mix them all together and heat them up.
Oh, nice.
And it's delicious, man. If you like Tostitos scoops,
of course,
it's perfect to like kind of just dip and have. You can feed 3 or 4 people with it.
Nice.
And it's great, man. It's great for occasions like tonight. I'm having a few friends over for Survivor Series.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of Thanksgiving tradition. Sure. We always watch some wrestling, but this one, thankfully, is the new pay-per-view Survivor Series, so we're all excited. But I'm gonna make up my chili dip. I'm gonna make up, and there's another thing I like to make called stromboli.
Oh yeah,
yeah, dude, it's amazing. It's basically like all kinds of Italian meats and then cheese inside this like delicious like soft bread, and it's fucking awesome.
You're killing me, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, okay. We'll move on to beverages.
I'm just kidding. That's all right.
Don has heroically lost 45 pounds, and I'm sure everybody is very proud of him. But I'm almost taunting him at this point, and I don't even mean to. Okay, and for beverages, I like Code Red Mountain Dew a lot.
Oh, I do. I love that Code Red. Oh, yeah. Have you tried like the new? They got like 3 new flavors. Have you tried any of those new flavors?
I've had Voltage, I've had Whiteout, and I've had Pitch Black.
Yeah, there's even 3 newer ones than that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, what are they?
They're only, I knew you were going to ask me that. I can't remember. But one of them is Code Red. One of them is like Code Red and just Mountain Dew mixed together. So I don't know. I haven't tasted it. I got it, and my kids drank it up. They're big Mountain Dew fans.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got good kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Here, I'm looking it up. But yeah, they really love them. I mean, they drank them down really fast. Yeah, damn it, it's going to take me forever to find it.
Oh, no worries. But I also, while on the subject, I'm a big fan of Muggs Root Beer.
Oh, yeah? Nice.
Yeah, with the bulldog on the cover.
Yeah.
And I love Mug Root Beer. I love it. And those are probably the 2 I go with the most. Substitutes would be Dr. Pepper and Sprite. I'm really big Sprite and Dr. DP fan. So those would probably be like my top sodas. And maybe even orange soda I'd throw in there. I love me some fucking...
oh, nice. Yeah, I like orange soda also. Damn it, dude. I can't find those flavors. Oh, here.
All right.
Here. Livewire? Is that one? No, those are the old ones, aren't they? Anyways, I don't remember what they are, but they're good. Check them out. You can only get them in 20 ounces right now. So,
all right. Well, that's okay.
Yeah, right.
The more the merrier, right? But before we go, too, there's something I forgot to ask you.
What's that?
How the hell was Horror Hound, man?
Oh, I didn't go, dude.
What? You didn't go? No. What happened?
I had a car issue, and I had to spend all my money on my car. If you can believe that.
Gosh.
So I was going to go anyway, but I didn't have any money to spend, and I was pissed. So I didn't go. Yeah, I know, dude. I can't believe I didn't go either. I can't believe it.
Oh, I feel terrible, man.
Yeah.
I saw Pizzow was there.
Who?
And I was like, oh, you know Pizzow, the YouTuber?
No.
Pizzow, like the Sausage Factory and stuff.
Oh no, I don't know who that is. I'll have to check that out. No,
he's like a famous horror movie YouTuber guy. He does some good reviews. I've talked to him a few times.
Oh, cool.
I did a few video responses to him. He's a nice guy. He does videos with guys like Raiho and Rambo Rap.
Okay. Yeah, Raiho. Is he still on?
No, Raiho's not been on for a long time.
Yeah.
Raiho followed me on Twitter for a long time, but he unfollowed me like a few months ago. I don't really post anything on Twitter. That's probably why.
Right. Yeah, you're more of an Instagram kind of guy.
Yes, I am. That's definitely facts. Facebook and Instagram for sure. Twitter, I could really. I can honestly delete my account, to be honest with you. I don't even use it, really. Yeah. I honestly just look it up sometimes if I hear something, like if somebody said something, then I'll look up to see if they really did.
Right, right.
It's all I use Twitter for. I don't like
get cash back and exclusive savings when you shop.
Sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty bummed that I didn't get a chance to go.
I'm bummed for you. I feel terrible, man.
Yeah.
You were excited,
I was,
man.
dude.
I feel that's the worst, when you're so excited for something and then at the last minute something comes up where you can't.
Yeah.
Like, that is the worst feeling in the world, man.
I agree. So, I mean, all those people were literally 5 miles from my house, and I didn't get a chance to. Like I said, I was so pissed off about what happened that I just, you know what I mean? I didn't, I don't know. I didn't feel like I would have had a good time, and I don't want to ruin anybody's day, kind of a deal, you know what I mean? So
no, absolutely. If you're not going to be in the good mind frame, why go?
Right. So, but anyways, so yeah, so that was a letdown, but there'll be another one. I mean, there's another one coming up, March in Cincinnati, so I can still go down for that, which that's the plan. So, but anyways. So
awesome, man! I'm glad you'll be at least getting back.
A chance. Yeah, get a chance to make it up. So, but anyways, so anything else you want to talk about, man? Anything else? I know you got. We both got the holiday coming up for this week, and we'll probably be at it the week after if you're up for that. We'll talk about what we'll do. We're not sure what we'll do after that, but I think we're gonna maybe do some Christmas themed stuff. Does that sound good? I'm pretty stoked for my Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is coming out on Scream Factory. Which I ordered the one that comes with a little NECA character, so I'm excited about that. That comes out on like the 5th or something like that. Did you hear that was coming out?
Yes, I did.
Are you a fan?
Oh, I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
I love Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 2.
Yeah, so we'll definitely we'll talk about those coming up here pretty soon. Maybe we'll just do both of those in one episode as it's coming.
Yeah,
out.
We probably could do both of those in one episode because the second one is basically 75% of the first one.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they didn't do a whole lot of work on that one. But we'll talk about some other things, and maybe we'll I don't know. I'm digging doing these old little known movies too. I think that those are a lot of fun to do. Don't you think?
Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure you could introduce me to ones that even I haven't seen.
Yeah. So we'll figure out something, and we'll get it out to the fans as quick as possible. But I hope you have a good week. I don't know how many plans you got going on, but you're probably hanging out with the family a little bit and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Friends, family, turkey, all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, naps, all that good stuff.
Football.
Sleep,
basically,
right?
Basically the whole 9 yards.
Right, but then you only got another week of school or so, or a week and a half of school or something.
2 weeks. After this week, it's 2 full weeks, and then I'm done.
Nice, you gotta like that.
December 7th, baby. So everybody mark that down on your calendars. Right. It's the day I'm free.
Right. He's ready to party. Right.
Eat a bowl of fuck.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, maybe we'll have to have Will on again. You think he'll want to, when he comes home from school, he'll want to do an episode with us?
Oh, I'm sure he'd do an episode with us even if he's at school.
Cool.
I feel bad. I want to get Ryan on here.
I know, right? It just hasn't been working out. I think it's just a schedule thing, you know what I mean? But I think if we do it on the weekend like we're doing it now, he probably will have a chance to come on.
Yeah, I don't know if he works Sunday morning. So let Don know or let me know, Mr. Snyder. And we'll try to get you on here because I feel bad. I feel like he's wanted to come on for a long time. We just haven't been able to.
Well, when you're as popular as we are, man, it's hard to get people in and out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, we were beating off the paparazzi with a fucking stick.
No doubt. All right, brother. Well, I hope you have a good week, and we'll be in touch. I'll text you or something this week, and we'll figure it out.
You got it, brother. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
All right, you too. Take it easy.
Peace.
Peace.